Have you ever looked at a fish swimming alone in a tank and wondered what its world actually feels like? When the room goes quiet, the lights dim, and no one is watching, does that fish experience loneliness the way other animals do? It sounds like a simple question, but the answer reveals something surprisingly emotional about life beneath the water. For a long time, fish were treated almost like living decorations. Silent creatures drifting through glass tanks with little thought given to what they might feel or experience. But modern research has been slowly changing that picture. Scientists have discovered that fish can remember faces, solve problems, recognize social partners, learn from one another, and even show signs of stress when their social relationships are disrupted. Which raises a fascinating question. If relationships matter to fish, can they actually feel lonely? The answer is more complicated than most people imagine. To understand it, we first need to leave behind the idea that all fish are the same, because the underwater world is filled with very different personalities. Some fish spend nearly every moment surrounded by others. Others prefer distance and independence. Some species travel in giant schools containing thousands of individuals. They move together almost like a single living organism, turning, stopping, and changing direction in perfect synchronization. For these fish, being part of a group isn't just convenient. It's how they survive. A school provides protection from predators, helps locate food, and creates a sense of security that a lone fish simply doesn't have. When separated from their group, many schooling fish become visibly stressed. They may hide more often, stop eating normally, or behave nervously. This doesn't automatically prove loneliness in the human sense, but it does tell us something important. Their brains expect social contact, and when that contact disappears, something feels wrong. But the strange part is, not all fish react this way. Some species naturally spend much of their lives alone. Certain predators prefer solitary territories and may even become aggressive when forced into close social situations. For these fish, isolation isn't a problem. It's normal. That's why asking whether fish feel lonely is a little like asking whether humans enjoy being alone. The answer depends greatly on the individual and the species. Yet even among social fish, something deeper seems to be happening. Researchers have observed that fish often develop stable social relationships. Certain individuals repeatedly choose to stay close to specific companions. Some fish appear to have preferred partners. Others establish social hierarchies and recognize familiar members of their group. This means their social world is not random. They aren't simply swimming beside whichever fish happens to be nearby. They remember, they recognize, and they make choices. What most owners never realize is that many fish spend their lives constantly reading social information. Every movement, position, and interaction carries meaning. Who is dominant? Who is familiar? Who is safe? Who should be avoided? The underwater world may seem silent to us, but for fish, it is filled with communication. And where communication exists, relationships often follow. One of the most fascinating discoveries in animal psychology is that social needs exist across many forms of life. Humans need connection. Dogs often seek companionship. Birds can form lifelong bonds. Even some insects show surprisingly complex social behaviors. Fish are increasingly being added to that list. In experiments involving highly social species, researchers found that prolonged social isolation can trigger stress responses. Hormone levels change. Behavior changes. Activity levels shift. Some isolated fish become less exploratory and more cautious. Others appear unusually restless. It's almost as if their environment suddenly feels incomplete. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean a fish sits alone feeling sadness exactly like a human would. Human loneliness involves complex thoughts, memories, and self-awareness. But scientists often describe loneliness in a broader way. At its core, loneliness occurs when an animal expects social contact and doesn't receive it. By that definition, certain fish may experience something remarkably similar, and That idea challenges one of our oldest assumptions. For decades, people believed fish were emotionally simple. Yet study after study has revealed unexpected complexity. Fish can learn routes through mazes. They can remember locations for months. Some recognize individual humans. Others learn feeding schedules and begin anticipating events before they happen. Certain fish have even demonstrated behaviors suggesting curiosity. Think about that for a moment. Curiosity, a trait many people once believed belonged only to more advanced animals. This behavior actually means something deeper. The more scientists study fish, the harder it becomes to dismiss them as simple creatures operating entirely on instinct. Instead, they appear to exist somewhere on a spectrum of emotional and cognitive complexity that we're only beginning to understand. And perhaps nowhere is this more visible than in the way fish respond to familiar companions. Many aquarium owners report noticing changes when a long-term tank mate disappears. A fish that was once active becomes withdrawn. A normally curious fish spends more time hiding. Some stop exploring areas they previously enjoyed. Anecdotes alone don't prove scientific conclusions, but they do raise important questions. Why would behavior change so dramatically if social relationships didn't matter? Researchers are still investigating exactly what fish experience internally. And that's the challenge. We can observe behavior. We can measure stress hormones. We can study brain activity. But we cannot directly ask a fish what it feels. The same limitation exists with every animal. We infer emotional states by observing patterns. And the patterns in many fish suggest that social connection plays a larger role than people once thought. But here's another surprising twist. Loneliness may not only be about companionship. It may also be about stimulation. In the wild, fish exist in incredibly dynamic environments. They encounter changing landscapes, moving groups, predators, rivals, and opportunities. A fish living completely alone in a barren environment may be missing more than social interaction. It may be missing mental engagement. This is one reason modern fish care increasingly focuses on environmental enrichment. Plants, hiding places, varied environments, and appropriate social groups can all contribute to healthier behavior. Because well-being isn't just about survival. It's about allowing natural behaviors to exist. And natural behaviors often include social interaction. Perhaps the most interesting lesson from all of this has very little to do with fish. It has to do with us. Humans naturally judge intelligence and emotion by familiar signals. We understand a dog wagging its tail. We recognize a bird calling for its mate. We relate to animals that express themselves in ways we can easily see. Fish don't make eye contact the way mammals do. They don't bark, purr, or cuddle. Their emotions, if they experience them, are hidden behind scales and water. Because of that, we've often underestimated them. But science keeps revealing the same message. Complexity exists in places we don't expect. The quiet fish swimming across a tank may be navigating a social world far richer than it appears. It may recognize companions. It may respond to familiar individuals. It may experience stress when social expectations are disrupted. And while we still can't say with certainty that fish feel loneliness exactly as humans do, evidence increasingly suggests that some fish are affected by isolation in meaningful ways. Maybe the better question isn't whether fish feel lonely. Maybe it's whether we've been paying enough attention to understand their world. Because every year the gap between what we thought fish were and what they actually are grows a little smaller. And the picture that emerges is surprisingly emotional. Not because fish are tiny humans swimming underwater, but because they remind us that social connection may be one of nature's most universal needs. Sometimes, even in the most silent corners of the animal kingdom, relationships matter. And perhaps that's what makes this question so fascinating. A creature drifting quietly through the water may be experiencing a world far more complex, connected, and meaningful than we ever imagined. The next time you see a fish swimming through an aquarium, take a moment to look a little closer. You may not just be watching a fish. You may be witnessing an entire social life unfolding beneath the surface.